Hello John, it's Radoslav, and I just want to go through parts of code I've done for our project with Andrew. So I was working on the things like to finish the game, player have to kill enough enemies and find key fighting with boss, kind of key card. That's checked before he entered the ending room, the power station, which is my main objective, to restore the power. So for now we have like player have to kill 20 enemies, but that can be just simple change here, this place. There are some functions like kill count and boolean to check if player has a key. You just change when player kill the boss and boss drops that key. Key is a kind of item, but it's not spawned in the room. It's just percentage. When boss is killed, okay, here. When boss is killed, we have for now 50% chance to find the key. If the key is kind of like drop, but it doesn't appear in the room, the player just has a key value to true set, and then message is displayed that he find the key. But before he entered the power station room, he had to also kill enough enemies to fulfill the requirements. The requirements for that are checked in the room service file, which is also responsible for healing in hospital and check before player want to enter to the boss chamber, boss room. So that's file. The room service is just a handle. It checks, depends if it's boss chamber or power station, so it checks and display proper information. Like before entering the power station, you see we can have enough kills and you player have to have a key. This is the small information. If it's in if player is in hospital, he can speed up the healing is speed up by 2, the regeneration. But we also have a function, if you type heal, you get healed for money. So that's the small function also in that handle. We check if player have enough money to heal. If not, he gets the amount of money and gets 70% of that money and heal just that amount. If player have enough money to be fully healed, it gets full heal, and the message is displayed for if it's needed, if healing is needed, or if or not. And if player gets healed, he also get information how much it cost and how many HP points he get back. I was working also on spawning different enemies in the room, and that's just the function. So enemies are spawned only in the plain rooms. First we check if there is enough space, because each room have the maximum enemies. He can contain just I think 8 of them, but that can be simply changed in the file. So if the max enemies is not 0, 0 means that this is like hospital or a store where you don't want to have enemies, and if the current number of enemies is less than maximum of enemies, then we just go through player list in the room to find out average level of the enemies of the players in one room. We calculate that average, and if in the room are enemies, so we get the average greater than 0, then we calculate level for enemy to be spawned. But we also have kind of like a setting that we don't use the exact level, we have a range plus minus 3 levels from player average level. And we don't want to also have a boss spawn in the rooms, in the plain rooms, so we restrict that by checking if the level is not 99, which is the boss level. Then we check all the enemies from the templates and push them to the vector. If that vector is not empty, we randomly pick up one of the enemies from that vector. And we spawn when create that enemy. Otherwise, if we find out that the room is empty, but we still want to spawn some enemies in this room, so we just take the whole enemy template database and randomly pick up one of the enemies from it. We check if it's not boss, so it can't be 2 or 3 because that's the idea of the boss. And then we create that enemy from the enemy template database. We had with this some small issues with bosses because we have problems that boss, after we was killed in that chamber, he didn't reappear, respawn, but this function works good, and we just check if it's the boss chamber. We check if there is any enemies. We can have different enemies in that chamber, but first we check if there is any of them. If so, if we find any enemies, we check how much life it have. And then we check if it's room number 7 or number 10, because we have 2 rooms with bosses and each room have different boss. So then we just spawn the enemy. Now here is the check. If the pointer, so if the enemy is not the boss already, probably that could be mixed together. Okay, so then we just create this boss. I also make some kind of check to allow player walk around and don't be attacked by every enemy in the range in that room. So we check if player have weapon, equipped, and if the level of player is plus minus 3 levels, if the level of enemy is plus minus 3 levels from player level, then it will be attacked. Or if players start to attacking one of the enemy, then the enemy will fight back. That's the thing I was working on. Okay, in the store list, with some help Andrew gave me, we display also damage the weapon makes. If it has special damage, we display also that damage and what kind of type of damage, because we have special damage which is works better with different enemies. So that's the part I was working on also. And basically I was responsible to create and fix issues we have with, if there will be issues with files like enemy file, enemy template, rooms, appearing enemy instances, items, and that's basically what I've done for this project. Thank you.